And another major issue we'll learn more about this morning, the state of the economy. With high prices on the minds of all people, everyone's anxious to hear what the Fed chair has to say as he delivers a highly anticipated update on the economy. Joining us now is CNBC's Michael Santoli. Michael, good morning. I mean, there are some good signs here. We've got unemployment is down, gas prices down. The economy isn't doing as poorly as people have thought. So do we feel like we've hit the worst of it?
We probably hit the worst of it in terms of the rate of inflation. So there are some encouraging signs. It's tentative, but we've gotten some relief. The peak in inflation was probably in June. It's continued to go down in July, at least on a month-over-month basis. Gasoline prices down 70 days in a row. Used cars, airfares, a lot of the drivers of the 40-year highs in inflation that we experienced have reversed or moderated. The issue is we can't take for granted that it's going to go down to a comfortable, normal level anytime soon.
All right. Well, the Fed chair is expected to speak. A lot of people are wondering what's he going to say. We've been raising interest rates over the last 5 months. Yeah. What are you expecting him to talk about today?
He's going to continue to emphasize that the job in fighting inflation is not done. There are going to be further interest rate increases. And in fact, they may stay at levels that are higher than we experienced in the last decade for a while. However, that he does expect inflation to, over time, moderate. They just want to see multiple months in a row for that to happen. But he will clearly say the labor market's good, unemployment's low, and so the economy can probably handle it, we think.
Another arm of this is the housing market. There are people who are deciding whether to buy, whether to sell, whether to rent. What should they do? What kind of a market are they stepping into?
It's been a shock in the housing market. In fact, new home sales down by half from their peak. It's actually been the area of the economy that's most dramatically responded to the rise in interest rates. That's typical. It seems right now prices might actually continue to soften up in a lot of parts of the country. That might be okay because affordability became an issue. The question is, does the housing market get bad and stay bad enough that the overall economy slumps?
Okay, and lastly, everyone's been talking about this student loan debt relief. It's been a subject of great debate. Many are worried what it'll do to the economy. What do you think it will do?
I think immediately not very much. It's probably good in terms of the overall consumer health and borrowing capacity if, in fact, there's less of a debt obligation on a lot of people. I don't think it's an immediate kind of accelerant to inflation, as a lot of people have said. First of all, it's not in place yet. It will refresh buying and borrowing power from a lot of people.
So do you think people will use some of that money that they're saving to pay off other debts?
That is what the surveys say, and that's probably the first use for a lot of people, yes.
Okay. All right, Mike. It's good to have you on the set with us. Thanks for visiting.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.